beautiful people!
I'm here.
Welcome to the next episode of my Thumbprint on turning 50. Today we have a special guest.
Moi.
Gio. What's your full name?
My full name is Giovanni Gaetano Bagnato.
And how does the Aussie say it?
Giovanni Bagnato.
What about the middle bit?
No,
Yeah, leave it
we'll
at
skip that one.
that. I've known Gio for probably about 15 years.
Yeah, about 15.
I would consider him one of my closest friends. We look similar. This is what you're going to look like in 10 years. Brace yourself. As I said, I consider Gio one of my best mates. I find him to be very giving. He's a loving bloke. His sense of humour sucks. His footy team sucks. But apart from that,
I'm an alcoholic.
he's a very good man. So what we're going to do, Chich, I call him Chich. Gio, we've got the privilege of Gio working with us as well. So he runs his own business. That's pretty much it, I think. I met him. His parents live next door, and we had a community tree planting event. And Julie and I went and planted some trees, and just happened to be beside an elderly Italian couple, and started talking to them and pointing out our house.
My mum was trying to take a few plants.
Yeah, she's trying to pinch the plants. I was like, mate, look, they've got cameras. She's still got the plants. And that's it. So basically we're going to have a chat with Gio, find out a bit about him. Pretty casual. So the way we normally start the interview is, how are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Very well, thank you for having me. Just want to start off by saying I'm a celebrity. Get me out of here.
Which will be fun in 20 years because
No,
they won't know the show.
in all honesty, thank you for having me. It is a privilege to be selected to come on your podcast, and what you are doing is pretty good. It's not only for the people of today, but kids and grandkids, and like you said,
Thank you.
very happy to be here.
Now we're going to ask questions, and the questions are going to be fairly broad. If you can't remember, we'll move on.
Yeah.
So the way I sort of started is, where were you born?
I was born in Mordialloc Hospital, 1981.
1981.
Almost exactly 10 years younger than you.
Nearly.
Yeah.
So you can do this in 20 years.
Yeah, probably.
And from there, do you remember what primary schools? Did you move around a lot as a kid?
We did. In the earlier ages, we did move a lot. Not because we were unstable where we were. It's just that my dad was always working to get that next dream home kind of thing.
Yep.
So yeah, I was born in Mordialloc, and then we moved to Claydon, and then Clarinda, and then we moved here.
Perfect.
Well, next door.
Brothers and sisters?
I got an elderly sister. Her name's Gabby. And then
Her birthday is?
Her birthday is the same day as yours.
Hello!
The 5th. Don't ask me what year. 5th of January. And then I've got two brothers, Frank and Mark, and I'm the baby of the family.
Close family?
Very close family. A very close family. As in emotionally or distance-wise?
Both.
Yeah, no, we're a close family. I mean, European family. We always grew up pretty close, and yeah.
A lot of cousins?
Yeah, fair few cousins, especially on my dad's side. My dad's one of 8 children.
Okay.
So when they all moved over from Italy, they started their life here and started growing their families. So yeah, they're very big family. We don't see a lot of our first cousins or anything, but yeah, very big family.
So all your dad's brothers and sisters are here?
All here.
So they all moved?
All moved.
So was it the parents who moved first and then obviously the kids are with them, or
I think they all literally came on the boat together.
How old was your dad?
My dad, he's the youngest of 8 children, and to my memory, I think he was 6 or 9.
Okay, cool.
So he came very young.
They moved over as a family, so it's not like they were all adults. Okay, cool. Yeah. And they started off in what area? So they moved from Italy?
They moved from Calabria, and
I love how you say that. Can you say it again?
Calabria.
Yeah.
It's like bruschetta.
Yeah.
My understanding, I haven't done too much research, but I'm pretty sure they came direct to
Port Melbourne?
Yeah, maybe Fremantle.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, Fremantle, because I think we had relatives go over there not long ago, and they saw the Bagnato plaques.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, I think. So I think they all came to Fremantle, and then they all migrated to Shepparton.
There is a place in Freo that you can go,
Yeah.
and you can see where all the ships have docked, and you can literally get the ship, get a photo of
I'd
it.
love to do that.
Yeah, so and it's pretty accessible. It's really cool. We did that with Julie's family, and we were going to do it with my family, but we were illegal immigrants.
Did they go to Fremantle as well?
Yeah, I think everyone does.
Oh, that's right. I watched the last podcast.
We didn't mention it.
You're right.
Okay, so your dad's side's fairly big. Your mum's side?
My mum is one of 4, and she came over. She was born in Italy, and she came over when she was 3. So also another young child. But my grandfather came here first, moved to Can River, set himself
Can
up.
River? Oh, okay, cool.
Excuse me, Can River or Bensdale, somewhere
Yep.
around there. Set himself up, and then eventually made enough money, or sent money there so my grandma can, live and feed the kids, and then eventually set himself up so they could all move here.
They did that a lot, so I don't know if that's like a sponsorship thing that you've sort of got to set yourself up, prove that you can make it
Maybe.
before you bring your family over.
Or just the fact that they don't want to come over with literally nothing
Yeah.
and then start up.
So is your mum Calabrese?
Calabrese, yeah.
Calabrese?
Both my parents from Calabria.
Okay.
Very close to where they're born, but yeah, it's very weird that they met here.
Yeah. Bizarre.
From there.
Have you been back? Have you been to...
I've been to Calabria, but it was only an overnight stay.
Oh, okay.
So it wasn't.
Is that something you do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd love to do it, but I mean, my parents came over so young that they don't talk about where they're from, and if they moved over here when they were 16,
Yeah.
a lot of their life is there.
Yeah.
So you'd love to go back to see where they grew up and all that kind of stuff. But I mean, my parents haven't even been back there.
Oh, okay. Now, back to school, primary school, was that in Mordialloc area or?
Yeah, so that was Parkdale Primary School, and I think I was there probably up until grade 4-ish, and then we moved.
So, did you have your siblings at that school, or were you on your own because of the age gap?
Yeah, no, when I was in grade 1, I think my brother Frank was in grade 6.
So Frank being the oldest?
Yep.
Yep.
And then Mark was also there. So Mark's 2 years older than me, so grade 1, he would have been grade 3 or 4.
You look a lot younger than him.
I've aged well.
So from no, yeah. So from primary school, secondary school.
Primary school from Parkdale Primary. We moved to Clarinda, so I went to Clarinda Primary School for 2 years, two-ish years, and then I went to South Oakley High School.
Perfect. And completed year 12.
Completed year 12, just.
Completed year 12.
I did complete year 12.
Beautiful. And then from there, so primary school, do you have friends still from primary school or?
Not from primary school, but from high school, a lot of Facebook friends. Nah, but from high school, yeah, just a few selected really close mates.
So I could picture you at primary school being cheeky.
Yep. Very cheeky.
And high school, I reckon you would have been
Extremely.
a little bit cheekier.
Extremely.
The friends from high school you still see today?
Yeah, a couple of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You catch up regularly?
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah, catch up regularly. A lot of phone calls here and there. It's always good just to touch base, see how people are going and what's going on in life. But yeah, still touch base with a few of them.
So you leave school with the ambition to become
just a worker.
Okay.
Just a worker. While I was at high school, I remember when I was 14, I was counting down the days because you had to be back then 14 and 9 months to have your first job.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And I couldn't wait to have my
Part-time
first job.
Yep.
And so when I was 14, my first job was Safeway. I worked at Safeway in the confectionery. It wasn't the confectionery, like the title wasn't the confectionery, but I did the chips, the lollies, the nuts and all that.
God, you would have been in heaven.
Mate, loved it. I loved it. And I reckon that's where I get a bit of my OCD-ness from as well. Especially, I mean, more so from my mum because she's always, perfect to the T. But with Safeway, when you stock the shelves, everything needs to be pushed forward. The labels need to... So they just teach you how to be perfect. And I think because that was my first job, just from there, everything that I've done is just always a reflection of...
Do you see OCD as being a hindrance or
Both.
help? Yep.
Both.
Okay.
Definitely both.
In the sense of what you think you spend too much trying to get things right that don't need to be right, or okay.
Yeah. And what is perfect for me is not always perfect for someone else. if that makes sense.
Yep.
Like, yeah.
So when you do it that it's perfect, you feel happy?
Yeah. I
And
feel
if it's
happy
not
and
perfect, you
relaxed.
can't relax?
No.
Okay.
You can't relax.
Okay. I know that when I work with you on sites, I can see that you've got that, the system where you want to do the, and I mentioned the other day where you'll pick up a shifter and you'll do all the sizes of that shifter,
Yeah.
and you're not putting tools, which I think is brilliant.
Yeah. And then I'll go back 5 times. And
Yeah, just double check when no one's watching.
I used to as a mechanic.
Did you? We'll get to your
me.
mechanic.
Yeah, sorry.
No, don't. Just follow the script, mate.
Yeah. Okay.
So you worked at Safeway?
Worked at Safeway. Then from Safeway, geez, going back now, so old. From Safeway, I went to McDonald's.
Yeah.
Loved, as you know.
You're actually following your dream.
I love. Back then, I used to love McDonald's so much.
Can I just say, in interrupting,
Sure.
the first time I met you, we were at your parents' house, and you came out of the bedroom looking like a rock star apparently, and we started talking, and we talked about travel and all that, and you brought out photos, and you remembered where you were because of the McDonald's.
Best cheeseburger I've ever had was in Venice.
Yeah.
Cheeseburger in Venice was the ultimate.
So we left that house, and I said to Julie, "They're going to kill us. The guy's a mass murderer. He's going to kill us."
Pretty much. I had 4 jobs. So I had 3 jobs going on at once. Not. I don't know why I did that.
That all went. You paid tax on everything, and
Yeah, everything. Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
I think you paid more tax than you
100%.
had to.
Yeah. Can we edit that part? Yeah. So just I think I was just money. I've never been money hungry. I've just been money driven. So
Yeah, massive difference.
I think that's why I always just want to succeed and
Yep.
be perfect and be comfortable in life.
If you look back on your life, what would you say is comfortable? So people say I want to be comfortable, but when do you tick that box off and go, yeah, I'm comfortable?
Financially, for me.
Which would be you don't need to work?
No, just you work because, I mean, it's funny, as funny as it sounds, I do love my job. I love what I'm doing now. And the money's great, everything, but I think being comfortable for me in life is being financially comfortable where you don't, financial stresses is massive.
Oh.
Massive. So if we can eliminate that type of stress and just try to cope with normal everyday,
Yep.
lifetime stress, then I think for me, being comfortable is financially.
Financial is
For myself and
Yep.
for my family,
Beautiful.
most importantly.
Beautiful. So you did the work-wise in between that time. So how old were you when you finished the franchise and say, okay, I'm going to become a mechanic? I've done my schooling.
Franchise came after the mechanic.
Okay, so you did. Okay, yep.
So I was an adult apprentice. I just fell under the adult apprentice. I started my mechanic apprenticeship when I was 20.
Yep.
Late 20s. November 2000, I think it was. I think that's when Essendon won the premiership.
Fuck, edit that shit.
Essendon won the premiership in 2000, and then when I worked at Holden,
Essendon
no,
won
hang on,
that?
it was Ford. I did my apprenticeship at Ford. There was 2 guys at Ford who were massive Essendon fans, and because we won the premiership, I jumped on board. And no, I didn't. I've always been an Essendon supporter, but I was never a massive follower because in my family, my dad really never took us to the footy. Not because it was a bad thing, but we just weren't really footy orientated. But now,
So sport's a big thing in your life?
yeah, massive.
Playing or
I love
watching?
my sport. A bit of both. I dabbled in a bit of outdoor soccer for a while. Played indoor soccer, and now I'm into golf. Love my golf.
Did you ever play indoor footy?
Played indoor footy. I was pretty much the star of the team. A lot of people would say that it was the delivery into the forward,
I
but
don't want to talk about me.
no, we did. We played indoor footy with Luke
Yeah.
and Frank and a couple of other mates, and Frank and I we were a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah. The Dunstall and Lockett.
I would
I
more
was Lockett because I was a fat kid.
Yeah, I'd probably say Lloydie type.
You were Lloydie?
Yeah,
No.
yeah, it was.
No. Lloydie's good. Anyway, so now golf.
Now golf, because I don't have to run. I can just stand there and hit it with a stick.
And you don't have to walk far.
Yeah, I play a bit of golf, and I do a little bit of Brazilian jiu-jitsu. I love my martial arts, but that's been put on the back burner until I get my body
Right.
where it needs to be. But yeah.
So with the jiu-jitsu,
Jiu-jitsu?
that's it. Wish you'd started that earlier.
Much earlier.
So that's a martial arts you teach Yoni?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. Not only, but yeah, that'll be a massive part of him growing up. If he likes it, I don't want to force it upon him, but he came to a couple of classes with me, and I've taken him to a few classes. But yeah, my back's a little bit iffy at the moment, so I'm going to get that right. And then once that's right, we'll get back into it.
So with martial arts, what do you see the benefit of teaching your child martial arts? And it falls under martial arts.
Discipline, confidence. Probably they're the main two things that comes with every martial arts.
Yeah.
And then after that, way down the line is just being confident and being able to look after himself. Not physically, but even just confrontation.
I believe the important thing with teaching kids martial arts is you get them to a stage where they know, I don't have to fight.
Yeah, exactly right.
Or you look at the person and you go, yep, okay.
It's very hard to...
It's a massive step.
But that comes later in life.
So when you get to the stage where somebody wants to hurt you and you can look at them and go, look, I don't want to fight you. I'm not into this, I'm going to walk away.
Yeah.
Then you know your kids are doing well with martial arts.
Yeah. When you start off doing martial arts, whether it's karate, taekwondo or jiu-jitsu or anything, you think automatically, I'm going to have done one class. You think, I'm untouchable. But it comes with consistent, training and maturity and all that kind of stuff. So,
but like I said, I think the best form of martial arts is having the confidence to say,
definitely,
don't need this, I'm out of here.
Yeah.
And being able to look at situations and just go, this is going to get ugly, I'm gone.
Yeah.
So
there's no need to fight. Kids.
No
need to fight.
No. So,
but yeah, so mechanic. I did 5 years at Ford, 8.5 years at Holden, and a year at BMW. But in between Ford and Holden, my brother and I, we did a detailing franchise. Because when I was working at Ford, I worked at Holden for so long, that's why I always say Holden. When I was working at Ford, we would always bring our cars in after work and clean them and detail them. And because I'm a perfectionist and love everything perfect, the guys at work said, mate, you're in the wrong trade, you've got to be a detailer. So I just had enough at Ford and decided to go into a franchise with my brother. But the only downfall is that's when the water restrictions really hit hard.
Oh, okay.
So imagine hosing down a car. So that sort of fell through a little bit. And then Frank and I, we went and worked at Melbourne's cheapest cars.
Yep.
We did detailing there for a while. And then my mate from Ford rang me up and said Holden's got a night shift job, which was more afternoon shift. So I applied for that and did 8.5 years. Not 8.5 years at night shift, but 8.5 years at Holden.
And now you're working at your own business?
Now I run my own business. Much to your credit, which you probably will disagree, but doing split systems. Yeah, I run a heating and cooling business. I've got a few people that work for me, but predominantly my main focus is installing split systems, which
Happy?
I love.
Yep.
Love it. So, and that's where the carpentry came into big effect, installing split systems, because I sort of had a gist of how buildings were built, and it really helped me get into the splitties.
So that's your working life. Now your personal life. Travel? Have you done much travelling?
Yeah, I've travelled heaps. Love travelling. So does my wife.
Who is?
Poppy. My beautiful wife, Poppy.
And do you have any children?
Yeah, I have one amazingly gorgeous son, Yanni.
Who loves chocolate cake.
Chocolate cake. Loves chocolate. He's like his dad. He loves sweets.
And how old's Yanni?
Yanni will be 3 in April. So we are now in January.
Yep.
2019. 2020. Oh my god. 2020. So in
2019.
4 months he will be 3 years.
Perfect.
3 years old.
And how have you found fatherhood? Because you're going to have 100 people tell you what it's like.
Yeah.
But you figure it out for yourself.
Poppy read a lot of books.
Before,
before Yanni was born. Fatherhood is, and it's very cliche, but it's the best thing ever.
Yeah.
I mean, you cannot describe what being a father is like, but it is also very challenging. Not purely the way your son or your kids are, but it's just everything rolled into one.
Yeah.
But it's the best thing ever. But I don't sugarcoat anything. It's being a parent is challenging.
Right. Yeah.
But it's very, very rewarding. It's the best thing ever.
One thing I find frustrating is that you hear people say, "Oh, the bond between the child and mother is males have to have credit." Maybe 50 years ago, a lot of fathers wouldn't spend a lot of time with their kids. It's changed. Every guy I know now that's a decent bloke will spend as much possible time as they can with their children.
Yeah. Having my own business definitely helps with that.
Yep.
Because when I was working at BMW, for argument's sake, it was 7:30 till 5:30. So I was leaving home at 7 and coming home at 6. If I was to do that now, I would hardly see Yanni during the week. Because, I mean, his bedtime is usually 7:30. By the time he goes to bed, different story. But yeah, having that bond and able, to spend a lot of time with him definitely helps. But, I mean, yeah, look, fathers should get a lot of credit, but...
So your
mothers, yeah.
Your childhood, so going back to the bond, with spending a lot of time. I know with mine, there was no time. It was... The only time he spent with us was holidays.
Yeah.
So come holiday time, we went away somewhere, or on the weekends, every weekend I'd have to be out in the garden and working with that. That's the only. But during the week it was nothing. Like during the week it was just this mundane. Come home, dinner.
It was almost like a routine.
Sits on the couch. From the couch he goes to bed. Couldn't care what you did.
What hours did your dad used to work? Was he?
I couldn't tell you.
Yeah.
Just lost interest halfway through it. So same thing. He worked a lot, and just when he come home, it's just he'd be asleep or literally come home and sit on the couch. So anything that needed to be done in the kitchen was bad luck. It's not my job.
Yeah, right.
So you can imagine yourself and myself coming home from work and just saying to Poppy or Julie, "I'm done. I've done my day's work."
I would love to do that.
Of course, you'd love to do it.
I'd be a single father.
But I'm guessing it wouldn't last long. So that's where I think it's changed. Well, you growing up as a child, you've got 2 Italian parents.
Yeah.
And
very old-fashioned.
Correct. I'm assuming the roles are the wife does a lot of things and the husband brings in the money and that's his job done.
That's what they thought was the norm, and that's what they think that they were supposed to do. Work, bring in the money, and that's it.
Yep.
My mum never used to do anything. She never really was allowed to drive.
Oh, you mean anything for herself?
Yeah, my dad was like, "Nah, I'll drive. I'll do everything. No, you're not going out with your friends. You're staying home, looking after the kids, and making sure everything's right by the time I get home."
That'd go down well these days.
Poppy, I love you. No, 100%. It's definitely not like that anymore.
But that was the
norm.
Exactly right. That's how they knew. So they weren't going against a trend. That was a trend. This is what you do. You're the man of the house. You don't show any kind of emotion. You do this. You're the king. So if you say that bin has to go out at 7 o'clock, it's got to be gone by 7 o'clock. So, which it needed to change, right?
Now that we're talking about it, like I never accepted the fact that that's how it was.
Yep.
And it's really weird as a young kid. I thought, I just knew that it's not right. This is not how a family life should be. It should be a lot different. It should be full of laughs and being able to communicate. Like my dad used to come home and, we were at the dinner table, big family, a family of 6, and he used to come home and be like, shh, stop talking, I just want to sit down and watch the news at the table. Whereas everyone's together, you talk about how school was. There was never, how was school, kids, what's going on, what did you do today? There was none of that. So I found it very hard to communicate when I was growing up with people.
Communicate to older people or to
just anyone?
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah.
Geez, you made up for it. It's very hard to shut up now. So that's weird. See, the thing is, if that happens now, they blame it on phones. No one talks to each other because they're on their phones.
If it was the kids of this generation, yes.
Yeah, no, but I'm just saying that. So going back, the conversation wasn't really there anyway. Because I remember the same thing. No. When we're at the table, you had to eat and watch Home and Away.
Yeah.
And not talk.
Yeah.
And it'd be like, mate, I've got 1,000 things I need to say. I don't care that you've had a shit day at work.
I will never say in defence of my dad, because there was no defence of it. He knew what he was doing and that was it. But at the same time, in the defence of my dad, he did work 6 till 6, 6 days a week.
Yeah.
which is what set us. Sorry for tapping. Which is what set us all up in life. All of us, our family, and then showed us, not work is more important, but the work ethic, and he was money hung. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I was probably too young to understand why he was doing what he did, but I mean, we are where we are, I think, because of that as well. Which, would I change it? 100%.
You change where you are, or you change the way it happened?
The way it happened.
Okay.
Because we'll always get there in the end, but it's just the process of getting there. Does that make sense?
Yeah. So, when you say you are the way you are, he taught you that work's important.
Work ethic.
Because all your kids, all your brothers
exactly
and sisters works.
Yeah.
Hard workers, never out of work, constantly, which is unreal.
Yeah.
But what you need to do is balance that with love and affection and
which we were never taught that. Okay. My mum was the affectionate one. She was the one that we always went to for if we had problems or something like that. But my dad was never.
And has that changed now?
In what way?
Have you got a different relationship with your dad now, or is it still the same and you go to your mum with the issues or the...
I don't go to any of my parents for... I probably come to you with more of my issues than anything else.
Okay. I don't go to my family as well with problems.
My sister. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry to cut you off. I go to my sister a lot. She's always there for me.
See, I find it, and it's a stupid way of thinking, I don't want to burden them with my issues. I'll take theirs on, but I don't want them to think... I don't want them to think that they have to worry about me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and that's a massive thing. That's got to change with all males. Males have just got to be able to sit down and just go, way too hard, I need a hand, I need a chop out. And we spoke about this the other day at work, where it would have been really good to have older male role model that you can ring up and go,
Yeah,
today
exactly.
I'm about to build a cubby house, you want to give me a hand?
Yeah. That's the values I want to teach Yanni. Not the values, but that's the relationship I want to have with my son. And any of my kids, the future kids.
Oh, woo, there was an S on the end of that word.
No, not that.
I think it's important, and we covered this the last episode, even though you might have a family, it's important to have good friends that you can... The way I look at it, all my friends that I consider friends, I'd be more than comfortable for Jackie and Luke to talk to about their issues if they can't come to me.
Yeah. And
I think that network's super important, and I think that's built up because we don't have the older role model to sort of go, I know I need a hand with this, how do I think about this, or we don't have that. So Julie and I made a real big effort to make sure that our group of friends that we have, and we spoke about this just earlier, are a group of friends that we love. They don't belittle us, they don't do any of that shit, but our kids can, if they don't feel comfortable talking to me, I'm more than happy that they go talk to, the kinder group or my sister. So in the back of my mind, they're not getting information from other people who I don't know their morals. They're getting information from people who've got the same morals as me.
And you're happy with that? Like if your kids went to other people with some issues or things that they just want to talk about, you're happy not knowing?
I'm happy if they go to somebody I rate, and I only surround myself with people I rate.
Okay. Oh, yeah, right. Yeah.
So for some reason, if Jackie or Luke have got an issue and they can go speak to somebody about it, and I find out about it 10 years later, I'm more than happy that they've managed to find somebody they can talk to and work through it.
Especially if it's resolved.
The worst thing is that they talk to somebody that wouldn't give them that don't have the same morals as us, right? And you'll see that in life where you just meet people and you just think, fuck, how the hell do you breathe? You're a turd of a person, you do this and this, and they're the last type of people that I want to give advice to my kids.
Well, exactly right.
Or even give advice to me.
But you're not aware of that until you do have a little bit of life experience, and what kids these days think is the right way to do it is not necessarily...
That's where we go back to open communication with the kids.
Oh, it's massive. It's just in general, talking about everything with everyone, really. Yes,
and there's nothing wrong with saying this is too hard. Oh, and I wish I had that when we bought the house and the business and all that, because I had nothing. I had no one that I could comfortably just go, fuck, this is, I was pretty much the first one out of a lot of my mates to start a business, so I couldn't sort of bounce that off. Luckily, I had Brian, who I bought the business off, that I could bounce ideas off, but then, building a house. I was one of the first ones out of my mates to build a house. And
how did you cope with all that?
I lost my hair. No, I actually just You know how I coped with it? Just surrounding myself with good friends and that, but sort of spending so much time with my kids and my family.
No, as in, how did you cope with? Because obviously, I mean,
I asked the questions, don't I?
yeah.
No, go. No, I'm joking. Go.
No, because it's a good learning curve as well. Like for people that don't have someone to bounce ideas and look up to and ask for help, because obviously you didn't.
Yeah.
Starting your own business, building a house, like you would have been under a lot of pressure and a lot of stress as well.
Yeah. I dealt with it by just talking to mates,
Okay.
openly. You know, and I jokingly hug all my mates, but not jokingly. I hug my mates because it means something to me.
I hug you every day.
Yeah, but it means something to me. It's not just I hug them because it means something to me. Back to being a child.
Yep.
Growing up in, was it Morty Alec first, then
Morty Alec up until about 10, and then I remember having my 10th birthday at Clorinda, at our house in Clorinda. That's the family home my dad built. Not physically, but from scratch we built that house.
Which is a massive effort if you think about from when they got there to being able to build a family home.
Mm.
So which is credit, right?
Yep.
They moved around a bit until they came here.
Yep.
Do they see themselves as this is it? Or
Next door?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Next stop is nursery home. I mean,
Nursing home. You don't want a nursery home.
Yeah, well,
There's plants everywhere.
Well, it's the plants that they stole from
the original planting thing.
The nursing home. No, probably my sister will look after it.
Let's just get that in writing.
Yeah.
Okay, so they're comfortable and
Very
happy.
comfortable. Yeah.
Your brothers and sister, comfortable and happy?
Very.
Would you? Oh, excellent.
Yep.
So, being parents, seeing that, they'd be stoked. Correct? So, as parents, you look down and you go, my 4 kids are comfortable and happy?
Yeah.
They've got a holiday house as well in Locksport?
Locksport?
Yep.
Yeah.
If you look at your parents, at what they've achieved, is that what you're happy with, or do you want to go a little bit, not better, is your range different?
From where they've come, what they had to go through to where they are now, perfect.
Okay, back to you. Where they are now, is that, so you've built a house, a beautiful house just down here?
Yep.
It is down here?
Yep.
Is that your pinnacle, or do you go, okay, that's a stepping stone because we want to move to eventually here?
I mean, there's always, in life, unfortunately, there's always that next step, and we always want something better. And even though we've got something that we think is perfect, we always want something a bit bigger or better. But
It's called being driven, mate.
we're very content where we are, but coming from a big house in Clorinda, a big house next door, to a medium-sized home. I wouldn't say it's small, but a medium-sized home. If we were there for the next 5-10 years, I'd be happy. But I mean, once our family starts to grow, yeah, definitely something bigger.
Same area?
No, I'd like to go beachside,
Morty?
wherever you go.
Circle of life, mate.
Hey, yeah. I mean, I'd love to go back to Morty.
Yeah.
Morty Alec, Aspendale, Chelsea, Patterson Lakes, somewhere around there.
Okay. You briefly covered when we were talking about me building a house, how did I cope with that stress? I'm going to return and serve that back to you. How do you cope with stress?
Not very well.
Not very well as in the main, not very well, or you know within yourself not very well? Because outside of looking in, you're very harsh on yourself. Very harsh. The way you cope with things might not be the norm, but if it works for you, I believe he's right. Without putting words in your mouth as well, I would say talking to people and saying things like, mate, today's not the day, I'm struggling, I need a chop out, or I need you guys just to pull your head in, whatever, is fine. And you can do that to us anytime, you know that. But how do you cope when you think that should be there, but it's there and you can't change it?
Not very well.
Do you talk yourself into accepting it because you can't change it, so that's it?
No.
Or in the back of your mind you go, that job is still not good?
it needs to be perfect, and that's the downside of being a perfectionist. So if I did something in life that wasn't perfect and I can't control it, it drives me insane. The job that we did a couple of days ago, when something just wasn't, it was 99% there, it has to be 100%. And that would be perfect for me, and I'll stop thinking about it. So how did I cope with it?
How do you, not did?
I don't know. I really just pushed through it, which is not a good thing, but...
Because you get anxiety as well.
Yeah.
So you'll go to a job and you'll build yourself up to this job.
Yeah.
You stop me at any stage. Build yourself up to the job and go, this is going to be so hard, da 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 da. Do you ever find that what you perceive it to be compared to what it is completely different?
90% of the time.
And I don't know how you think. Can you not use that as a... Okay.
No. There's probably ways around it, and training or...
I told you my breathing thing and
you
just laughed at
me. Yeah. That's because you stopped breathing.
Yeah, but I didn't worry anymore.
It's not a struggle every day, but sometimes can be a struggle every day. Something so simple, I will magnify it and make it a problem.
And you know you're doing that?
Yeah, all the time.
Okay. Does that affect you in relationship, friendships?
Yeah.
Okay. So ideally, ideally, you don't cope if it's not as perfect as you need it to be.
Yeah.
So, I'm not a doctor, but you would say you've got OCD and anxiety.
Yep.
So your OCD would be, I need to get this right, and anxiety is before and after, before I can get it right, and after it's not quite right.
Anxiety is before, depression is after, which I don't have depression. I never, ever, ever want to go down that path. Because my dad's a massive anxiety and depression sufferer. So he's on a lot of medication, so he's completely different how he is now to what he used to be. So that's...
And is it just him, or is it his whole family?
His whole family.
Okay.
His whole family suffers from it. I mean, my sister gets anxiety. I'm pretty sure my brothers get it. Do I get it worse? Oh, I don't know. Because we don't... I mean, my sister cops it really bad.
Is anxiety being nervous? Because I don't know if I've... Are you nervous about something? Because I get nervous. I get nervous, and then something will happen and you go, okay, well, that's not as bad as it was going to be. So I don't know if that's anxiety or nerves.
Anxiety is... And once again, it's something that I can only express for myself. But anxiety is something that you cannot explain.
Oh, okay. Great interview then.
Yeah. Being nervous is... Being nervous. Everyone knows what being nervous is. I mean, whether you're nervous about coming on a podcast or nervous about doing a wedding speech, you just get that. You know, when you meet someone for the first time and you've got those butterflies feel, but it's a good feeling. Being anxious is those butterflies, but a bad feeling. So it's like...
So anxiety, you see the negative in everything.
Oh yeah, anxiety is not a positive feeling. Anxiety is... It's hard to explain.
Have you had it your whole life, you think?
No.
Because knowing you in work and out of work, there is a part of you that you would never pick, ever. You would never think you've got a great personality, you're flamboyant, you're over the top, you're great to be around, and that secret part of you, which I call it secret because not everyone knows until now, because I've got 100 people that watch this.
More than happy to talk about it.
It's and I'm glad to hear, because I'd love to get my head around it, and then it helps me help you, I believe. But it's you don't see it. So you look at Gio, that does his splits at New Year's Eve and leaves his pubic hair stuck between my decking. You see that, and then you see that behind closed doors, running out dressed up as a tennis player in front of the people across the road, and they're going,
sometimes that's sometimes that's not a cover up, but it's something to take your mind off. Your mind off? Yeah, but I didn't have anxiety then. I think,
oh really?
Yeah, I think anxiety more came into it when you start, growing up, when you start having more responsibility.
So you reckon the last 10 years, maybe?
How old am I now? 38, 28. Yeah, maybe. You know, I can't tell. I can't say.
You didn't have anxiety before playing sports or anything like that?
No, like
Okay.
game day, never really had anxiety.
So it's a recent
It's something that evolved later on in life.
Is it getting worse?
It got really bad, but it's getting a lot better.
Yep.
A lot better. A big credit to my wife as well, because I'm very go. You know, big Energizer Bunny, where she will, you know,
Tape you down.
yeah, which I need that. Yeah, she will make me, you know, we'll talk about things, and she will try and, you know, point out that it's not as bad, but it doesn't matter who would say to me it's not that bad, or it's, you know, why anxious, it's nothing, it's.
Do you believe within yourself that if you're put in a situation that's no good, you can work your way around it?
Say that again.
So, in your mind, do you say to yourself, no matter what gets thrown at me,
Yeah.
I'll work my way through it? Work my way through it as in physically and mentally. I've got this. So, something happens, your car blows up, you might not have the money to fix, but you know within yourself, I'll get this done.
Yes.
Does that not help your anxiety then?
No.
Okay.
At the back of my mind, I know I'm capable of getting through any situation, but at the front of my mind, that's where the anxiety comes into play. It's like you got to go through this whole spiel of what if you know, I can't do it. I just overanalyze, and maybe that's what it is. I just overanalyze something that to the point I get anxious about it.
So overthink things.
Overthink it, yeah, so bad.
And when you do, you're concentrating on the negative of it.
Only
I'm
negative.
guessing.
Only the negative.
Okay. And you can't flick your right.
No.
This is a negative.
I've tried.
Okay.
Yeah, I try. Every time I mean, it's not a struggle of every single day. Like, it's just it's just a specific thing that you get. That.
Well done. Because the first time I
I
met
used
you,
to
was
say
specific.
specific. It's just specific things that will really trigger anxiety. But then once you've got it, something so small will add to it,
Okay.
and then it's like, oh my god, everything is just a weight on your shoulders, and it's very hard to get rid of it all.
So you can recognize it's coming. Is there a trigger? So do you see yourself going through something, going, oh, I'm getting to okay?
Just comes straight away.
Do you find it happens more when you're tired?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think when I'm tired, I become a little bit agitated, a little bit frustrated,
Which we all do.
and things don't go to plan, and you just get anxious, and then you think about, you know, what's happening tomorrow. I've got that big job I'm going to do, and even though I'm more than capable of doing it, it's just those inner thoughts that you can't. It's like the devil and the angel,
Yeah.
and the angel's always sleeping. It's the devil that's always talking to you,
Talking to you or talking to me?
talking to me.
Because you said yeah. I haven't heard him.
Yeah,
Okay, so
I mean that's the best way I can.
yeah, no, but I'm just thinking outside looking in. So if you recognise that when you're tired that happens, could you? And I know I don't know, but is it something where you sort of go, okay, I need to get away? And I'm really big on holidays, right?
Yeah.
And to me, a holiday is not just a holiday, but a holiday is where you just regroup. You can just sit back and think about all the great you've done. You can think about all the shit that's happened, but mate, we've come through it and look where we are now.
Yeah.
So whether you're sitting in Maui or you're sitting in the Bahamas, you've got to be able to sit back and go, mate. And I don't think you give yourself enough credit for that.
Back in the days,
I know you don't give yourself enough credit.
Back in the days when I used to travel a lot, I used to get, like, if I was away for 3 weeks, let's say, come that last week, I was already getting depressed about coming home and thinking about going to work while I'm still on holidays. I'm like, oh my god, I'm going home on Monday, kind of thing, and I'm working myself up so bad, where almost the last week of my holidays is just, I'm anxious, I'm depressed. It's like just something you can't. Now it's totally different because now I work for myself.
Yeah.
And that's something that I love. Maybe it was just me trying to find something that I loved as well.
So if you could train yourself to live the moment, because from what I'm hearing, I'm not even close to being a doctor of anything, even though once I booked myself into a restaurant as a doctor because I thought we'd get better seats and we were stuck with it. Anyway, if you learn to live in the moment, Do you know what I mean? So you're not thinking about tomorrow. So you're living in the moment. So we're doing this podcast here. Are you thinking about this podcast, or is in the back of your mind you're going, Monday morning I've got that install to do, and
I'm totally committed and focused about this podcast, but I'm thinking about the McGregor fight coming up. So true, the whole of
McGregor in 20 years ago.
And that's
who's McGregor?
And that's what I always do as well.
So you're not living in the moment.
I'm never in the moment. No.
And you will miss out a lot.
Oh, definitely.
So,
I went to a it was called I think we spoke about this, the Resilience Project. It was called. It was a seminar where a guy was talking about living in the moment, being present, because a lot of people are present but they're not present.
Yeah,
they're
correct.
thinking about other stuff, and I mean that was great. That was really good to fathom what everyone's going through and how to cope with it. But I mean, one small seminar is not going to fix everything, but it's training. He said you can completely train your body, your brain to be completely different.
I used to be like you. I'd be talking to somebody in the back of my mind. I'd be going, I've still got to go home. I've got to do this. I've got to do. I learnt to let that go because I was missing out on too much. You talk to your mates about the conversation you had 2 months ago, and you go, I don't remember any of that, and that's purely because
maybe that's why I can't remember anything.
I'm not in the moment. I'm not taking in what the person's.
What was your name?
John. Listen, I'm not taking what the person's saying.
Yeah, pretty much.
You can sit there and have a chat with somebody, and you can hear what they're saying, but you're not listening to what they're saying. So I can hear you saying all this stuff, but I'm interested, so I'm listening to what you're saying, right? I believe when you're in the moment, and I'm really big on this, be in the moment. The rest of the world's not going to fall apart. Whether you're sitting there having a beer with a mate, or doing a podcast, or playing with Yanni, doing Play-Doh, whatever it is, you're in that moment, and you remember. And I remember moments with my kids, and I remember thinking to myself, this is fucking grouse, We're playing shops. It's Jackie's turn. Every night we'd swap. It'd be Luke's turn, then Jackie's turn. We'd play shops. But Luke wanted to be part of it, so he'd rob the shop. So it'd be all about Luke. But I remember
Jackie was saving the money.
Jackie
Luke was spending it all. Oh, no, it's probably the other way around, actually.
But we're in the moment. And I think it's super important to be in the moment. 15 years, 10 years down the track, we're going to be sitting down talking about what we've achieved at work. And I want to be able to remember what we've achieved. Not just broadly go, mate, we've done this, it's been unreal.
I'll remember everything about work. Because I am so fixated in that.
Because you're in the moment.
Getting perfect, that I'm in the moment with more so with work than anything else. Oh, no, I don't want it to come across where I'm only focused about work and only about work. But it's because I'm thinking about it so much that I'll remember. Like, well,
you need to be in the moment.
Yeah.
And that's something that I've learned. And it's not saying that what I've learnt is right, but it works well with me that I make sure that every moment I have, I'm in the moment.
I know what I have to do, but it's actually just doing it.
In saying that, I can help you as much as possible, but you need somebody that's been through it that can say to you, these are the triggers, do this, work yourself through it. Because, I think you're very hard on yourself. In a sense of, there's millions and millions of guys going through this stuff. What we've got to break is the barrier of going, okay, he's got anxiety. Bad luck. Anxiety, let's work through it. What do we need to do to help him? How can we notice trigger points and sort of pull him up and just go, Chitch, just keep your eye on this because I notice you're starting to do this.
Yeah.
And that's where you need to bring in close mates with you to go through it and go, no more bookings. I'm cooked for a couple of days, or I'm going away, or I'm going to go. Me and Yanni are going. That's where you need to be open about it, because you don't need to carry it. And I know when I was going through the house, Luke going to Hailbury, starting a business, it was just there were stages where you just went, mate, when is this going to stop?
Yeah.
It just keeps going whack, whack, whack. And then you'd walk to the letterbox and you'd think, fuck, serious. You open it up, and if there was nothing there, as soon as you walked in, you were happy as pig and shit.
I know.
And as much as you tried not to, if there was a bill in your hand and you walked in, you're just thinking to yourself, fuck.
We just came back from Queensland, probably the best holiday we've ever had, because I was able to switch off. I was doing a little bit of paperwork and getting a little bit things organised while I was on holidays, but that's only because I could, because Yanni's still having his naps and. Poppy went for a massage, so I just jump on the laptop. Otherwise, what would I do? Be on my phone.
Yeah, true.
So I'd do some paperwork. When I got home, I had some bills to pay, and I got 2 speeding fines.
Same spot, apparently.
4 o'clock, 5 o'clock. So on the way to work, on the way back to work. It's like, and just something so small can just ruins you. But it's being able to just like, all right, it is what it is, whatever.
And I can afford it.
Yeah.
As much as it's a pain in the ass, you've got to get to the stage where you go, that's a negative, the positive outweighs it, move on. Easy for me to say. But it's a constant, even for myself, I find myself constantly have to keep telling yourself, that's cool, we can get through this, we've got this, we can get through this. You know, I used to always say to myself, I'm dumb enough, I'm young enough and dumb enough to work 2 or 3 jobs to get us out of whatever shit we can get into. So if we got into financial troubles or whatever, in my mind, I'd be like, okay, what can I do? And that's where I did the self-defense at schools and I did all that. But I could have just sat back and just gone, fuck, too hard. Or you grab all the resources that are around you and just go, okay, what do we do? How do we get out of this? And there's nothing wrong with getting your mates to come on the journey with you. Do you watch... I think it's, what's that radio station, Will and Woody? Did you see that interview with those two? Will and Woody, the 2 radio hosts. Will? Is it Will? Massive anxiety and struggles, hardcore. Depression. But brings his best mate who does a radio show with it, knows all about it. And there were times that they'd have a meeting and he'd be depressed and he'd storm out and his mate would say, he's going through this, let's not fucking bag him out. And it makes his life easier and it makes his best mate's life easier because they know what they're dealing with. It's not out of the blue where, you know, one minute you're happy, next thing you crack the shits and you go, where'd that come from? You know, was it something I said? Was it... So I believe you need to reach out to your close mates.
Which I do.
Good.
I do. I tell my wife when I'm anxious. I tell my sister when I'm anxious. I tell you when I'm anxious. I was anxious coming on here.
Yeah, I know.
But it's not that I'm nervous about talking. It's not that it's like anxiety is the unknown.
Oh, okay.
I mean, it's so hard to explain. I wish someone could write a book about anxiety and everyone would understand it.
They're trying to, but they can't.
No,
it's
like,
I can't get this done.
Yeah. I think, I mean, now that we're talking about, you know, upbringings and life in general, I don't think I've ever been praised or I've been told that I'm doing something right, or my parents never said, you know, I'm proud of you, what you're doing is fantastic. Like, and I think maybe, I could be totally wrong, but maybe that's a reflection of how I think about my everyday life. It's like, you know, I've never been told I'm doing something right, even though I know I'm doing it right, but maybe I'm looking for that clarification.
I remember I've told you 100 times your parents are proud of you, but they don't tell you they're proud of you. So I don't know if that's just I don't know, maybe they don't see the importance of it. I see the importance. Everybody craves being liked and loved, right? So if your dad or your mum or whatever sits you down and go, you know what, John, all the work you've done, we're so proud of you.
Who's John?
Well, that's what they'd call you. Because your mum calls you John, and half the time I go, how many
on my
kids
birth
you got?
certificate, it's Giovanni, but when I was growing up, I was John.
Yeah.
And then I turned into little Johnny, because little Johnny's always that little shit. So I was Johnny growing up, and then my parents are slowly starting to call me Gio, which is a little bit weird, but...
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wait until they call you Chich.
Yeah.
To find a new name. But yeah, just getting... Yeah, when my kids tell me that they love me and that they're happy with what I've done, you can't get any better than that. And it'd be the same as if your parents or your brothers or your mates say to you, yeah, what, Chich, you're doing a really good job. You're doing... You need it. Not everyone's going to tell you because not everyone sees the importance in it. And it's not that they don't think it.
You know why? It's probably because they've got it.
What do you mean?
Or they've been maybe praised or told them, you know, they've sat down and...
Would you reckon your parents have been praised growing up?
No, that's why they never...
Correct.
Followed suit. But the people that... Yeah, no.
I know I got praised from my mum after the old man had left. Before that it was, you know, but then after that mum made an effort to say to me, you're doing well, you know, and that means, whether it's written in the card or says it, it means you brush it off, but you sit back and go, cool.
Yeah. Unfortunately, anxiety is massive in today's society, and I mean, this is a good avenue to make sure. I mean, it's all over social media. It's all over everywhere. People, the more you talk about it, the easier it is to cope with. Not to manage, because managing anxiety is totally different to coping with it. But when I'm anxious, it's hard for me to verbally speak to someone about it. I would rather text it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yep, okay.
Because I'm not very...
Is it because you get emotional?
I do get very emotional, but no, it's not because I get emotional. It's just probably... I don't know. I messaged my sister once. I said, this is what I'm going through. I'd rather talk about it over text or WhatsApp or whatever, but when we see each other, don't bring it up. Just pretend it never happened. I'd rather... It's just something I do. It's very weird, I know, but...
I don't think it's weird. It's great you can talk to your sister about it. Do you think people would think less of you knowing you've got anxiety?
No.
Okay,
No,
that's a good thing.
No.
Okay.
No, my wife is massive on supporting me with that, and yeah, she knows.
No, but I'm just saying there's people that are going to see this that wouldn't have known. Like I said, your persona is...
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. She never picked it at the start.
Yeah, okay.
She's like, really? She goes, you could never tell. Like even, meeting, not meeting. Oh, yeah, probably meeting my father-in-law for the first time. That's...
I remember you stuck the earrings out and everything.
Yeah. Took the earrings out because I just wanted them to look at me as, respectable. And,
yeah.
Because, not that earrings are going to judge me, but
Oh,
it's just something that...
old-fashioned people, they freak out. We can tell when you come to work where you're at. And that's where I would love for you to be able to say to me, when I'm at this, it's not whether it is a personal... What do we need to do to make your day easier? Because it affects our day knowing that you're... I can sit there at work and see you come in and think, fuck, poor bugger's having a shit day, right? And whether it's anxiety or whether it's... I want to be able to sit there and go, okay, this is stage 2 of where Chich is going. I need to be able to do this. We all got the heads up. We all know what to do. And it doesn't make you feel like shit. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, bad.
Because I know you said to me one day, you go, fuck, I wish I could sit here and talk to you, but I'm really busy and you're just getting...
That's because I just want everything done there and then.
Yes.
I'm very... I'm like a control freak where I just need everything done. Once it's done...
But you still need to reward yourself with having a shot of basketball, a chip of golf.
Yeah, I know.
You still need to be able to... But what I'm saying is we need to know... I need to know what your signals are so I can sit there and go, okay, we don't need to say anything. We understand where he's at. Whether tomorrow it's completely different or whether in a couple of hours he'll be back. Because we know. And the worst thing for me is sitting back going, fuck, what do I do? I'm not going to sit there and go, come on, talk to me when I know you don't want to be spoken to, but you want to be left alone. But it's not a personal thing. It's just, it's an internal struggle you're going through. You want to get it done, da-da-da.
I'm in the zone. It's not every day where I'm struggling with something.
100%, we know that.
Some days I'm in the zone.
Yeah.
I've got to go to work, let me just smash out this paperwork, and then got a couple of hours before, I've got to do this, and then I can...
Live the moment.
Yeah. But especially this time of year as well, it's all systems go. It's our busiest time.
But if you don't have coping mechanisms through it, you'll burn.
Yeah, bad.
And we've seen that. We've seen that where you just got to be able to... And that's what I said, the four of us at work, you let us know what, where and how we need to do to make it easier and to help you through it. And then we know it doesn't happen every day. We know it's not a daily thing where you walk in and we go, we know that. But just sometimes you can walk in and I just see to myself, fuck, he's struggling. He's having a see you next Tuesday day.
Yeah, I don't want you to think that much into it. Because sometimes it's not even that. It's just that... Because sometimes you look at me and say, what are you doing? It's like, I'm thinking about something that I need to do. And my memory is that bad with, if I'm thinking about something, I've just got to think about it, what I've got to do, what's next. So it's not necessarily I'm having a bad day. It's I'm in the zone.
But when I say that, it's not like it's every day, and I've said
No.
that. It's not like it's every week.
No.
But sometimes I can see you, and I even the expression on your face, I can look at you and just go, okay.
Poppy's the same.
Yeah.
But she doesn't want to because sometimes I don't like talking about it, and she'll be like, all right, I'll just sort of let him go, kind of thing, and get over it.
You don't like talking about what you're going through, or you just can't be fucked saying
It's not something that I want to just burden with people every time. When it gets really, really bad, then I'll open up and say, look, this is why I'm anxious, or this is what I'm thinking about.
I'm not a professional, but I would say you need to fix it before it becomes... Do you understand what I mean? It's like saying the pool's leaking, I'm going to ignore it until I lose all the water.
Yeah.
Then it's an issue, I've got to fix the fucking thing. I don't know anything about this, but I would suggest the easiest way of handling it is, and that's what I was saying about the trigger points. If you can see it's you're here and it's going to end up here. If we can help you here to stop it getting there, or walk through it with you, or whatever it takes, just so it's not so stressful.
I have.
Excellent. You have what?
Asked for professional help.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
How long are they giving you?
A couple of weeks. No, I have.
That's unreal.
I reached out to a psychologist. She told me everything I already knew. Not that I'm a psychologist and I knew how to fix it, but I already know what I need to do. It's just a matter of doing it.
That's because you're living it. Of course you know.
So, but she just made it clear of, you know, it's easy. It's easy for someone who studies it and can express how to fix it, as opposed to someone who's going through it who needs to fix it.
Oh, okay.
So a psychologist can tell you everything that you want to hear, but it's just a matter of taking it on board and really practicing those.
And do you do that?
No. Because it's not as easy as that. But I've so much better than what I used to be.
Oh, beautiful.
Less frustrated, less angry, and much more less anxious as well. But anxiety will be with me forever. Definitely. Everyone gets anxious.
And that's why I think. Well, I think anxiety and being nervous is a different scale, right? So you can be nervous about something and anxiety's up here, like you said. But I think everyone suffers from being nervous. I mean, there's no one that's cocky and just thinks, I've got this. But I guess it's what you do from this point to this point. You know,
do you get anxious at all?
That's what I'm saying. I don't know if I get anxious or nervous. I do a lot of talking to myself. Hey, fuck, I'm funny. No, but I do a lot of talking to myself. Like, I will literally pull myself back and just go, okay, stop. There's been times that I've walked in the house and angry as fuck, and I've made up a reason that I have to leave. And I'll literally go, drive, and just like, fuck, mate, get a grip. And I come back and I'm juggling, I'm back.
Yeah.
But it's not, I can picture, I can see that if I walk in, little things are going to shit me.
Irritate you.
And it's going to be everyone else's fault but mine.
Yeah.
I remember the times that I was sitting in the car and I was thinking, fuck, how can this person be such an idiot? And I went through and I was going, fuck, mate, these 5 people can't be idiots.
Correct.
It's me. I'm the middle person here.
Yeah.
Pull your head in, get a grip. That's what I'm saying. I talk to myself a lot in the sense of there'll be times that something's going to happen. I just think to myself, okay, if I can't fix this, right, I can make it livable. And then I can work on making that livable thing better. Yeah. Right? And that's what I want to teach my kids and that as well. You're going to get slapped in the face with some shit sometimes and just go, fuck, this is all too hard. Just stop. Have a look at who's around you that can give you a hand. And at the end of the day, you'll work through it. It'll happen. Thanks for joining us on the latest episode of my Thumbprint on Turning 50. If you've got any concerns or would like some kind of help with anxiety, who did you find to be the best resource around you?
The first point of contact would be your local GP. Just tell him what you're going through, and he will put you on some sort of not program, but he'll do a test. So he'll ask you a series of questions, and then he'll sort of analyze the situation and move forward. But yeah, local GP number one. Wife, girlfriend, partner, whatever, is pretty much anyone to start out with. Because people with anxiety, they find it hard to talk about it straight away. But if just anyone, really just anyone, and then the ball will start rolling after that. And then you become comfortable with it, and then you just learn to accept it. Sorry, not learn to accept it, but you learn to deal with it, and then speaking openly will come easy after that.
Perfect. Thank you.
On your Instagram page, there's a photo of you doing a picture of a monkey-ish with your ears out wide. I have to claim copyright on that because
that's my wedding photo.
No, well that's something that I introduced into this world.
No,
so would you like? Can we do it together?
Jackie and I did it when she was doing kickboxing the age of 3.
No,
100%. This one with the
ready? We'll do it together.
Remember with the orange? Age of 3.
Cool.
Good try anyway.
Thank you.
Welcome to the family.
Thank you for having me. It was it's a pleasure.
Thanks for talking about it.
Done. Thank you.
Thank you.
2,000 years later.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks. I want to say thanks first because
Thanks.
I'm the star of the show, so.
Thanks very much.
Thank you. Why have you got the top position?
Thanks, Frank.
Thank you. They're angry.
Die. Ready?